Alright guys, it's Jahlon with Paradox Gaming Network, and what I'm here to do today is the December 2019 monthly recap. I know it's early in the month, however the live stream was done yesterday, and I do apologize for not getting this out sooner. I had some personal things going on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do the December 2019 update today, and then between now and the end of the year, I'm going to do a 2019 year in review. Alright guys, like I do with all of my Ashes of Creation update videos, I like to include a too long didn't watch, so people who just want their quick update get it right at the beginning. We're still stuck in this limbo of no dates. There's no date on the studio move. It hasn't happened yet, and I think at this point Intrepid needs to release a statement. Let us know the contractor wasn't done with the floor. Let us know that the new furniture isn't ready to be delivered. Whatever the reason, put something out there for why your studio move's not done. The community's not going to get mad about this. There's no date on the castle sieges, but we do know that PI testing starts tomorrow, Thursday, 19 December at 1300 Pacific. We have no date on Alpha 1. I know a lot of people have been waiting for that date. Don't be expecting a date for Alpha 1 anytime soon. It's not going to come until they're ready, and they have a lot more things to get ready, as you're going to hear about in this video. And then there's no fixed date for the creative director letter. It was scheduled to be around Christmas at the last target. It did seem like during the live stream that they weren't 100% certain it was going to come out before the end of the year. And all I have to say is the Q4 letter has got to come out during Q4, since you already canceled the Q3 letter last month and you said we're going to roll it all up. They absolutely have to get it released this month. As we get into this, I am going to start off with, I feel pretty good about the live stream yesterday from a project manager, CPI, continuous process improvement guy. I'm going to call out some really important things that they said. I think it's important right now to latch onto the good things that they're saying. Intrepid doesn't have the best track record of sharing their positives. And we already know the bad things, so the community knows the bad stuff. We can talk about that all we want. Let's talk about some good things. But before we can get to the good things, I want to talk about one of the elephants in the room. And yes, there have been some staff departures. A pretty major staff departure was Jason Crawford leaving Intrepid. He was their senior network engineer, had a lot of experience. I'm not saying that the people that are left behind, I know McP has a ton of experience as well. Jason was there at the beginning. So a lot of people are chicken little, the sky is falling, that Jason and Aaron left and that Tad left. Tad was kind of a face of the company. He had been in one of the dev diaries. We don't know why they left. We don't know if it was good terms, bad terms, spend more time with family, job offer at a different studio. So let's just acknowledge, yeah, there's been some staff departures, and let's let Intrepid get new hires in. With that said, I'm going to be really constructive critical right now to give some feedback. This is directly at Steven. Steven, please put your phone down. If you need to watch chat, then get an eye-level monitor set up that's near the camera so that you're looking at the camera even when you're watching chat. This is becoming a problem. I've pointed it out in the past. I've done some memes about it, but at 1 minute and 27 seconds in on the YouTube video, audibly state you didn't know what was going on. You didn't know it was introductions. You thought it was on the studio update. And this looks really bad. It's like you almost don't want to be there. And I know you want to be there talking to your community. So set aside that 1 hour to talk to the community, or start off at the beginning of the video, do your piece, and then if you have a ton of work going on, then just depart and let Margaret, let Toast, let Jeff carry the show. But it just right now, it looks like you don't want to be there. So your resolution for 2020, no phone during the live stream. Please, please, the community is begging you. With that said, the stuff Steven did talk about, the studio update, the studio move, delayed, no updated time of completion. And I think Intrepid needs to get over this. We're not going to give you dates. You blew the date again, the third time, third studio move. Say something about it. The creative director letter, delayed until Christmas. Some people thought that he's going to be working on it on the Christmas break, that it won't be out till next year. This has to come out this year. The next hiring phase is starting in mid-January 2020. I'm really hoping that they can get into their new studio, get their numbers up to that 140 in-house employees that they want. Talk about the staffing. Right now, it looks like you have 42 employees because that's all we can confirm. Even on LinkedIn, only 51 people have Intrepid LinkedIn. So it's like you said 70, you show 42 on your staff page, 51 on LinkedIn, and not all of them are current. So there's some disconnects. Let's just have some open honesty about how many employees are working on Ashes of Creation. Let's talk about support. This is important. On Christmas Eve and Day and on New Year's Eve and Day, there will not be support in the studio. I know some people are going to rage about this. This is acceptable. Small studio. Holidays are in the middle of the work week, not touching the weekend. Steven said he's going to be on Zendesk. Margaret kind of said he's not going to be. But just so you know, on those 4 days, if you put in a ticket, don't expect a turnaround. There's a video coming on Christmas. I'm kind of excited for that. I don't care what it is. It could be a fluffy Happy Holidays piece. I'm just excited for it. They have said there's going to be some first quarter announcements. Now, teasing these are fine. And in fact, I'm going to say more than fine. Teasing these are good. But what Intrepid has just done is they've now created a deliverable and they must deliver. So not to put too fine of a point on it, but 2 announcements in the first quarter of some substantial nature. I think we can rest assured one is going to be Castle Siege testing and then maybe a timeline for Alpha 1. Let's talk about design. At 5 minutes and 20 seconds on the YouTube video, they talk about hitting their milestones. This is much better than normal. I actually watched this piece a couple of times because it was like I'm feeling good. It sounds good. It sounds believable. And that's the stuff Intrepid needs to do to fill up the well of credibility. My suggestion for them, though, is share 1 or 2 of them. They don't have to be big, huge milestones. Just put some meat out there. Celebrate your successes. Celebrate your successes with your community. Give them something more than, oh yeah, sure, of course, you hit milestones. Well, you should be hitting milestones every day, every week, every month, every 2-week push. But we don't know what they are. We want to celebrate them with you. We want to feel good. Give us some meat. Jeff talks about learning a lot from the siege weapons and how that's going to affect other vehicles. And this is also good. These are little bits of success. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, why no visual? And I think we're at the point where we need to see some visuals. At the same time, there's still some bugs they want to resolve. And this is good because they said that. Hey, there's no visuals yet. We've got some bugs we want to resolve. Intrepid can't afford another bad showing, and I don't want them to do another bad showing because then my workload goes up. I have to explain to people why something looks busted. So the fact that they're saying we can't show visuals yet, we have a few more bugs we want to resolve, that's good. I know a lot of you don't see that as a positive, but that's actually a really big positive. Talking about class stuff for the sieges, it was just nice to hear them talking about the tank, and it's gone through some balancing. It was way too tanky, hard to kill. That they admit the mage was way too squishy, and they want to make sure that the mage is more than just a DPS, that the mage is applying some of its utility abilities. They talked about clerics and that their scepter can heal armor, and this was actually something it stoked me because I usually play a healer, and I'm like, oh, I can heal armor. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to get stuck playing tank for my guild, which is fine. I'll be too tanky. Clerics also have a mass res, and for me, mass reses are bad, but I haven't seen Intrepid's version of it, so it becomes something on my notebook that I want to check out in the future. I got to talk about the other elephant in the room now. See big red thing. Jeff said that the systems are locked down and engineering is creating tools to help them achieve those desired goals inside those systems. We are 13 days from the original launch date. Launch was never going to happen before 2020. I really truly believe this statement, and I hope Steven hears it and he listens to it. Steven needs to own this and mend some bridges. Apologize for it and get it off the table. Apologizing for it, doing the big mea culpa, will restore credibility with Intrepid Studios. Yes, in March, you changed the timeline and you said before 2020 was no longer going to happen. Alpha this year probably wasn't going to happen. Auspicious goals are fine, but you have got to admit that it was an overzealous goal and then just fall on your sword about being a rookie CEO of a game development studio, a rookie creative director You thought that you could get stuff done. You didn't know what you were doing. You've admitted in the past you didn't know what you were doing. So just finally bundle all that up in just one sit down piece with your community. And then you can restore some credibility because everybody else knows before 2020 wasn't going to happen. Now just say it. Get it off the table. I want to switch to character art. And another thing, at 13 minutes and 2 seconds, perfect question to start with from Margaret. What is the process? She said that this question has come up a lot of places. I've brought it up a lot. You'll see here from the Reddit. Perhaps providing some background into how long it takes to take the 6 monthly cosmetics from concept art to implementation would be helpful so the community understands that it's not slowing down the development process. And that's what they did. They brought this question over, and at the low end, 12 to 15 days to build an NPC. Now, I know a lot of people are going to freak out and they're going to say that seems like a lot. First of all, remember multiple pieces are in work at the same time. The detailed videos that they show, it shows them building a base model. They can then use that to build other similar assets. Once they have the first asset done, all the modeling, all the meshing, all the sculpting, all of it, then the other models take a third of the time because they already have something to work with and now they're just modifying it. I think that was huge for them to get out there and start to give a sneak peek into how their process works. At the very beginning, Intrepid was transparent, and part of that transparency had to be education of their community. If you want to make MMOs great again, if you want to build a better MMO than everyone else has done, then you have to get back to your roots of doing it how you were doing it in 2017. And this right here takes us back to what they were doing in 2017. I want to talk about, again, Chris. Chris really impresses me. Chris Atkins, it's hard to impress me repeatedly. And he comes out and he says something that was important. And it was, I'd say the whole project, the whole team, the whole company's gotten a lot better at that. Oh, you're really focused on reusability. This is important to me as a process guy, as a process improvement, as a Lean Six Sigma guy. It means everyone's on the same page. And if you know anything about, processes and developments, if everybody is working on a 60% perfect plan, that is a lot better than everybody doing their own thing because there's no repetition, there's no reliability, there's no reproducibility. So the fact that Chris just ad-libbed this sentence in, and if you watch the clip, it wasn't scripted, it wasn't canned, he's just talking. That should be another one of those good things, one of those votes of confidence. I also like the fact that they admit that they have a backlog. They talk about it. They're admitting it's there. Chris talks about when they need a break, they work on easier stuff and knock it out. What you're seeing right here is the helmet piece from one of the previous packs or Kickstarter. It's more than just a single throwaway item, which I'm sure those guys work on individual armor pieces, and I'm going to call them throwaway items. They're necessary. They're rank and file items you need in the game. But this one has lore. It has a future where the gem would glow as you're casting spells or using abilities. So that's a nice thing to see, that they admit they have a backlog and just them talking about what they're doing. So again, really good, strong thing for me to hear. I want to talk about engineering. I want to talk about leaderboards. They were put in with the last APOC update, which was 2 days ago. And this is a good statement for them to come out with. It's not soon trademark. It's not very, very soon trademark. It's already in. It's already gathering data. They're waiting to flip a switch to turn the leaderboards on. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, why bother building leaderboards for a dead BR? They aren't building leaderboards for a dead BR. They're building the tech of the leaderboard system. Once it works, and they know it works in APOC, they have something that will move to the MMORPG. Now, for the MMORPG, really easy leaderboards, for arenas and for PvPers. They also mentioned gatherers and crafters. I've seen games that have leaderboards for gatherers and crafters. Do I think it's needed? No, not necessarily. However, do I acknowledge that a lot of people are extrinsically motivated with that external locus of control? They have to be number one. They have to be the best. They have to this. That. Yes, I acknowledge that. I don't need it. The people I game with usually don't need it. But I admit that it's a great thing to do because it keeps some people motivated. And then sure, yeah, the BR would probably be a little bit better if there was a functional leaderboard. And we're going to need people testing new abilities, new things in the Battle Royale, new abilities, new things in the Castle Siege mode. So I think it's important. Some of you may disagree, and I'd love to hear your comments down below. Siege status, McP talks about, the siege and the update, and I know everyone wants hard dates, but listen to the comments that they're sharing at 3050. They're polishing and fixing. It needs additional play testing. Hence why they've now brought in the Phoenix Initiative testers. They need more people than they can test with just their internal testing. These are the little diamonds in the rough, the little gems that are lost in the vast length of the live stream. And that's why I've drawn so many of them out in this particular video. And by they I mean Intrepid, they need to link several of these together to give the community a better sense of accomplishment. And I've talked about celebrating your successes. Yeah, Steven has talked a lot about, on several occasions, about things people in the community say hurting the feelings of the team. I'm one of those people. Apparently, I hurt the team's feelings often. That's fine. I'm not going to apologize for it. If it motivates them to do better, prove me wrong, shut me up, that's actually what I'm trying to do. I want to celebrate the successes, so share them. Also talking about the sieges, there's some bugs, there's some glitches. It's not ready for public consumption. And like I said before, Intrepid cannot afford another bad showing. If there's gameplay glitches with the capture points, the organic fundamentals of a Castle Siege mode, then no, do not show it. No, do not make it available. I know the community right now is going to be getting their pitches and their, forks out, their torches out. Be like, Jay, what are you saying? You're excusing them delaying it? Yes, I am. If it's not ready, it's simply not ready. And they said that. They didn't come as far out to say it's not ready because, but just in the casual conversation. Capture point glitches, unacceptable to release with. The Battle Royale, week 10, 11, and 12, not having text was unacceptable. They don't have very many more go to the wells and get forgiveness unless they do some of the stuff I talked about earlier. Milestone video, as you can see on the screen, there is a lot of moving red dots. This is the movement. This is 5,000 bot accounts in a 4 square kilometer area. I know a lot of people are going to say this is only movement. It's not effects. It's not graphics. It's not that important. Like I said, movement is the most important thing for client to server communication. If that doesn't work, then you're going to have rubber banding all over the place. So some of you have played that. Some of you have played Arcade, where just the lag is so horrible you can't ever track somebody down. You don't want that. So they are working on making sure that they can have 5,000 people in one place at one time. They're probably never going to need that. Now, I know some of you are going to notice on the screen that the ants are all sticking together. And why is that? Are they broken? No, they're just stuck together because, remember, Ashes of Creation does have player collision. And that's an important thing that they're testing. I want to give Steven credit. I know I've bashed Steven a lot in this video. I dinged him for the phone thing because he needs to be dinged on it. But at 3554, he comes in with some brilliant commentary. I don't even want to talk about his commentary. I'm just going to splice it in.
I know a lot of players are looking at this and thinking, holy crap, how's my PC going to render 5,000 different NPCs? Right. Obviously, this video doesn't, showcase the fact that we will be having some, culling logic, and you'll be rendering only the pertinent and important NPCs and or players around you. So don't think you have to, your potato can't play the game. There's going to be aggressive optimization to allow for those large battles to be rendered on players' clients. But additionally, on top of that, you saw there kind of a character dummy, right? And one of the features that we intend to have for these types of large battles, as we've said in the past, is a default player appearance that can, player can set when they know they're going into a large battle, and that can reduce the, basically the load on their computer when rendering all these other players and their, unique costumes. And
okay, and what we need from Steven is more stuff like this. Steven needs to come with his A game more often. Put the phone down. You know what's going on. We're watching the live stream to hear you. That cut of commentary was absolutely brilliant. Talk about abilities real quick. They were talking about how an ability takes about 5 days to make. Engineering is building tools to help cut that down to 3. And 2 days saved on hundreds of abilities is going to be a ton of manpower. Now, before you panic, again, it does not mean that they're only working on one ability at a time. We're talking concurrent development, not consecutive development. So there are multiple people building abilities at the same time. So don't be thinking to yourself 100 abilities by 2 days a piece. That's 200 days, and that's like 2/3 of a year. Nah, that's not what we're at. So don't let some people's hysteria, some people's Chicken Little get into your head. They are building more than one ability at a time. Also about abilities, pull another one of those gems out. They're working on CC stacking rules to ensure reduction on subsequent CCs so that you don't have CC lockdown. Nobody wants to play a game where it's just CC lockdown. They also talk about nodes and the node interaction tool. It allows for procedurally generated nodes to ensure not all nodes look the same. I know a lot of people would riot if every stage 4 orc divine node looked identical. So this node interaction tool that they're building, that's what allows each node to have some subtle differences. At the same time, I think it's a little overzealous for the community to think that all 118 nodes would be completely different. There are going to be a lot of similarities. Talking about events around nodes, not all of the assets of your node are inside its walls. This was something new. Some will need to be defended. The example they gave was harbors. Not every node that has a harbor is going to be directly on the water. The harbor will be connected to the node by ownership, but the harbor not being inside the walls is going to be vulnerable. So there might be some events that you have to, rally up the troops, go down to the harbor, defend it from a kraken. Otherwise, you're going to lose access to your harbor. Talk about the questions and answers real quick. I'm not going to go into much about the Q&A this month. Shaz does a brilliant brilliant transcript. You can go and read that. I am going to pull out some of the key ones. Not a singular hero main story. You are the hero, but not the hero. The move isn't done. Is 10K concurrent players per server still the target? And they said based on the testing, this may actually be increasing, and that would be great to see. However, I would want Steven to sit down for an interview so we can talk about the 10K concurrent thing. Having done the math on 10K concurrent players, Castle Sieges being 500 versus 500, that's 1,000 people. Each Castle Siege week, that would be 50% of the server engaging in Castle Sieges. If you make the concurrent population too much bigger, then you're automatically by default isolating content because you can only have 5,000 people at Castle Sieges. Do you really want to have more than 10K per server? What else did we have? People asked if they're going to be building their own server racks. No, they're going to be staying with Amazon servers. They have no plan to make their own. The bug bounty system is a planned thing. If you guys don't know what a bug bounty system is, it's that if you do bug tracing or bug hunting and you find stuff, they will reward you for that. So if you're finding stuff in the Battle Royale that there's bugs, don't keep them to yourself. Don't just go in the Discord and bitch about them. Write them up through the ticket system. It might be something they haven't seen before. Castle Sieges and Seasons is not something they have nailed down yet. What this question is based on a 4-week season and a 4-week siege cycle. You would always be in the same season while sieging each castle. There would never be any variability. They said this isn't something that they've really thought through, but they have said each of the castles in a different biome would be in a different climate for each 4th week. So I think it kind of seemed like they took this one for action to think about. Now, not related to the live stream, but this month we also got the creation of the Day Strider. I'm letting that play on the screen for a second. I do want to talk about it. This is exactly what Chris was talking about. They build this thing. They do all the models, the mesh, the animations, and that takes them 12 to 15 days. Now, for the Day Strider, pretty unique looking creature. However, they are probably going to do variants of it out there in the wild, different ones found in different regions, different biomes, different patterns. So the first one took them 12 to 15 days. All of the subsequent ones, probably 4 to 5 days. And the important part about that is they have other things they can build from it by shortening the legs and shortening the snout. That doesn't mean they have to completely rebuild it. This is actually the outer markers, the outer boundaries of the asset, and now they can just bring them in. With that said, guys, a little bit longer of a video than I normally have been doing, but there was a lot of stuff I thought was thought-provoking and to talk about. I do want to let you know I am revamping Ashes 101. You'll see what's on the screen. It looks a little bit different. I'm teaching myself HTML and CSS. I don't want to be relying on a Wix webpage anymore. So if in the meantime, while I'm working on that, you can visit ashes101.com. There's lots of good stuff there. Get your Ashes education. If you have any questions, feel free to PM me. I'm Jahlon, #0001. You can find me on the official Discord. I'm also the Prophet Shalon Snow there. That's an on-running joke. You'll also, in the description below, you'll find my Discord. You can jump on my Discord if you want to talk in a more low-threat place. And as always, if you're new to Ashes, you'll see my referral code is in the description below. I just like to, give away money. I am working on that. The Paradox Gaming Network had some financial twists and turns this year. I'm trying to work on that so 2020 can be a little bit better and a little bit more organized. Until then, guys, be looking for my 2019 year in review from Ashes of Creation. And then I should get that out before the holidays. If not, happy holidays to you and yours. Merry Christmas if you celebrate. Until then, guys, you take care, and I'll see you next time. What are you still doing here? Nobody ever stays this long. This is the end screen. Well, since you're here, there's a couple other videos I think you should check out. And all those names, those are my patrons over at Patreon. I couldn't do this without them. So, big thanks to them for all their support.